these little droplets of liquid, they move. So they're not exactly in the same spot. And another interesting thing they found is that at night they seem to get a little more solid, a little slushier. So it was kind of weird. They thought, well, what could this be? Could this really be liquid on Mars?
We
it's
always
really, really,
water,
really cold.
Water on Mars should just boil, right?
Well, it should sublimate, is what it should do. So it should go directly from a solid to a gas. It shouldn't be able to exist in a liquid phase, yet we're seeing some sort of liquid. Now, the answer to this problem, this little quandary here, is that there are also these perchlorates at the surface. It's one of the things that Phoenix discovered. And perchlorates in high enough concentrations actually act a bit like antifreeze. And they've gone in and done some calculations, and if you mix the right amount of Martian mud and enough of these perchlorates with water, sure enough, you can stay liquid at 20, 30 degrees below zero in Celsius. So that's like minus 30, 40, 50 Fahrenheit. So really, really cold, you can still have liquid water under these conditions. So maybe it's there. And that also leads us to wonder, well, maybe there's liquid water elsewhere on Mars. So, should we be looking? Could liquid water exist? Now, that heavily antifreeze water wouldn't be so good for life. It might be kind of nasty. But there are other examples where we're seeing evidence that water recently flowed on Mars. So we have a crater wall here and some clear channels that were formed by something that was flowing, and a depositional fan, as they call it. Basically, that's sort of like the delta of the Mississippi going down to the ocean. It spreads out. Similar sort of a thing, except this is flowing into the bottom of a crater floor. Now, the interesting thing about this study was that you can notice this segment here has craters. There's little craters covering it. Whereas here, and here, and here, not so many craters. There's fewer and fewer. When they went in and looked at the cratering rates, and they looked at these craters, they discovered that the most recent flow here is only maybe 1.25 million years old, 1.2 million years old. That's nothing in astronomical terms. That's just yesterday. So if there were actually ice is melting, frost melting, and giving runoff, well, that says if Mars's orbit changes a little, it still changes a little, we could have runoff in the future. 1 million years is just yesterday. So maybe Mars could still have liquid water in the near future.